All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about Unholy Death Knight and the new Midnight Beta, and this is going to be part two. Part one, I talked about the large changes coming to Unholy with Midnight and the rework. This video is going to be focused more around the recent set of changes with the recent patch notes. These patch notes are going to change the way that some of our abilities function, so I just wanted to make an update guide and keep you guys up to date on how things feel. So before we get into the changes, I do want to add just a quick disclaimer. Look, I was looking for how people felt about the changes for Unholy, so I looked through the forums, I looked through posts, and I saw that there's a pretty divisive opinion on the Unholy rework. On one hand, there's a big group of people who are very happy with the changes. You know, Unholy is getting a lot of modernization and a lot of love. And the other camp, understandably, some people think that Unholy maybe needs more work. Now, I just want to remind everybody that when you are giving feedback to a company, especially Blizzard, right? Targeted, intentional feedback is very, very important, okay? I am not a game developer. You watching this are probably not a game developer. You might be. But when you are giving feedback, things like this spec is garbage, fuck the developers, right? That's not helpful. That's not going to get you the changes that you want to see. Giving feedback of this button feels fun to press. This button doesn't feel fun to press. That is helpful for them to take, have, you know, conversations about it internally, and then maybe they make changes about it. But just if this reaches any sort of audience at all, please just remember the golden rule. Don't be a dick. Okay, I understand we're passionate about the game. We're passionate about Death Knight. I love Death Knight. I'm not a game developer. Okay, so when I make this video, you know, I'm going to try and talk about what I think feels good, feels cool, and what doesn't. And all of the tuning and numbers and all that sort of stuff on the abilities will hopefully come with time, okay? So that's my disclaimer. Let's get into it. All right, guys, now we're going to dive into the talents. And the biggest talent changes that we've seen so far are Super Strain and Festering Scythe have now swapped locations on the tree. Both of these are really important for your resource generation, but Festering Scythe is like really important. If you've ever tried playing without Festering Scythe, it kind of sucks. I'm really glad that these were changed on the tree. This was highly requested by the Death Knight community, and great targeted feedback by them, and great job listening by Blizzard. Soul Reaper also saw some buffs, which is cool, and our little lesser ghouls got buffed as well. This was something that people gave feedback on as well. I kind of wish that they had gone the route of increasing their duration, just because it's cool to have them out for longer, but a buff is a buff, and they definitely needed some love. Now the biggest change that we've seen is Pestilence. Pestilence is going to be a new capstone, and it now replaces Outbreak. So your button that spreads the diseases is now going to be replaced by this little icon on your bars, which is a ghoul throwing up. Pretty metal. Now, how this is going to work is instead of applying your diseases, Pestilence is actually going to blow them up for AoE damage. It's going to deal 100% of the damage that the disease would have dealt instantly, and give you a stack of Putrefy. This is pretty cool because it makes the AoE rotation a bit more interesting. You are now trying to stack up your disease duration as high as possible and then blow it up for massive AoE damage. And it's something that people were really requesting. They were like, hey, I'd like the AoE rotation for Unholy to be a bit more engaging, a bit more interesting, and it now definitely is. So very happy with this change. There's a couple things that I take issue with though, and one of them is that Necromancer's Cunning, which allows you to putrefy without a active ghoul, it just summons a ghoul and then throws it at them, is now pretty much required. Because if I go up to a target and I want to apply diseases, I don't have Outbreak anymore. So I have to use Putrefy to apply the diseases, right? And if I am not able to just summon a ghoul and throw it at the target at the start of my pull, I would have to go up to the target and I would have to Festering Strike into Scourge Strike and then Putrefy that ghoul, right? But with Necromancer's Cunning, I can just throw a ghoul at the target right away. So if you're running Pestilence, which replaces Outbreak, you kind of need this talent. I think this could really just be baseline, just kind of my feedback. Now, that's not the biggest issue that I have. And I want to talk about the biggest issue that I think Unholy on the beta is currently suffering from. And that is required double button presses, okay? Now, I'm not just talking about a rotation. These are required double button presses. What do I mean by that? So, whenever I press Pestilence, it is going to take away my diseases. And I need to immediately Putrefy right after to reapply them. There's not much thought there. There's not much, ooh, should I Scourge Strike here? Should I Deathcoil proc here? Should I? It is always going to be, I'm going to Pestilence, and then I'm going to Putrefy. It's very scripted, more so than a rotation because it's not dynamic. It's, it just feels very, like Putrefy. Putrefy is a pretty satisfying button, right? You press it, you throw the ghoul, it does AoE damage, applies your disease. Very cool button. But when it feels like a chore, like I just kind of have to press 2 globals back to back, it gets rid of some of the interesting gameplay. And I think what they could do to fix this is make Pestilence, instead of giving you a charge of Putrefy, just have it cast Putrefy for you. Whatever target you're looking at when you press Pestilence, just have it cast the Putrefy at that target to apply your Dread Plague and your Virulent Plague. I think that would be a good solution. I'm not like just looking for things to be simplified or dumbed down or anything. It's more of, if I have to press the buttons back to back anyway, there's not much of a thought process to it. It may as well just cast the ability for me. And so I can choose when I'm going to press Putrefy, and it can be more of a intentional button. So I said that Unholy suffers from this. So that means it's not just this one occasion, right? The other occasion where this happens is with Festering Scythe. Festering Scythe is an awesome ability. It does a cone AoE where it makes your plagues tick faster on the target. It gives you the Scourge stacks where you are able to summon more ghouls. It's a very good ability. The problem is that it is always right after Festering Strike. So you press Festering Strike and you immediately press Festering Scythe to apply the debuff, and because it's free, I think that this makes it feel very forced. It almost feels one-buttony, and I don't like that, because that coupled with, right, Pestilence, Putrefy, Festering Strike, Festering Scythe, I'm pressing these back-to-back buttons that I don't have any choice over. I really don't like that I go up to a target and I just have to press this button twice in a row, every single time. New target, I have to press this button twice in a row, every single time. It does not feel very good. Festering Scythe, the ability, is very cool. It feels very good to use, but the way that you generate it does not. Now, this can't be solved by making this a proc, because if it was a proc, then the people's damage would be very, very different, depending on how this procced, when it procced, right? So I don't think that it should be a proc, but I think that maybe Festering Scythe should just replace Festering Strike and maybe cost less. Instead of 2 runes, it costs 1 rune. I'm not sure if you guys have ideas. I'd love to know them in the comments, but I really, really hope that this is addressed with Unholy because I do not like the scripted. I have to press Putrefy after every Pestilence. I think it should just auto do it. And I don't like that I have to press Festering Strike into Festering Scythe every single time. It kind of feels bad. I don't know. I hope that I'm making some sort of sense with this. I don't like the way that feels. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rest of the changes. I've spent enough time on that, on the issues that I have with it. First of all, Sand Lane, they have updated, they've modernized it to match current Unholy better. Some of these changes, like Transfusion, Vampiric Strike increases the damage of the Lesser Ghoul it summons by 20%. Things like this to make it align more with current Unholy, I think are really good. Something that I do not like, I don't want to complain too much in this video, but something I do not like is that we are now incentivized to drop Death and Decay in AoE. Look, Blizzard, you've done such a good job getting us away from Death and Decay. Please do not have a hero talent tree require us to use Death and Decay in AoE. I am happy not having it at my bars anymore, except for when I play Blood DK. I really hope that Sand Lane does not encourage that. So as of right now, it looks like we will be pressing Death and Decay in AoE. Hopefully this changes. The final thing, this is not a change really. We've gotten a bit of tuning. I'm going to talk about the Apex talents. So the Apex talents were somewhere between like 1 and 2% of a damage buff for taking all of them. With the recent tuning, it looks like we're not going to take any of them. I mean, you're just, they don't do enough damage. I think that they either need some tuning or a rework or both. But right now they don't really do anything. Especially for 4 talent points. They really don't do anything. I think the Necrotic Coil looks awesome. And if you guys ever move away from like change this talent or get rid of this talent, please keep that animation because it is so cool. But it doesn't really do very much. Like tuning, right? All the tuning is still to come. There's raid testing going on. I'm going to be raid testing myself tomorrow, but right now it doesn't look like we're going to be playing any of these. So hopefully some stuff gets changed. And other than that, let me summarize quickly because I know I just went through a lot of stuff. Festering Scythe and Super Strain updated, very good change. Soul Reaper buff, very good change. Buff to our little ghouls, very good change. Pestilence, very good change, but needs a bit of work in the sense of I think that Putrefy could just be casted automatically. Necromancer's Cunning, I think, could just be baked into Putrefy by default. Sand Lane, please don't make us use Death and Decay. I don't want to use that. And the Apex talents are very, very weak. So those have been the changes, the updates to Unholy. If anything else changes, if any other big news comes out, guys, I will make another video. I'll update you. This is what we have so far. So overall, very happy with it. Some stuff needs a little bit of tuning and love and smoothing it out a bit, but overall, I'm still happy with the changes. It's still better than it was. So very, very happy. Hopefully more stuff comes soon. And like I say in each one of my Unholy videos, Blizzard, where are the pet customizations? Where are they? That's all for today. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Suffer well.